Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed, and I'm happy to take you through the second and final section of Surah Luqman, and then we enter Surah As-Sajda. Luqman obviously being the name of the prophet, the wise man. I don't know if he was a prophet. I know that he was a wise man, and so it's usually connected with wisdom. And As-Sajda means the prostration. What Muslims do every prayer. But before I get into it, let me explain what I'm doing here. I am learning about the Quran and I'm sharing my learning journey with you. So I will make mistakes. I will struggle. Why is this? What is happening? I will make mistakes. I will struggle. This is an education an education journey. So I'm trying to understand. Sometimes I will not understand, but that's part of the path to God. You're not going to get it all at once. You have to try and try and try. And that is what I'm here to do. Try with an open mind and an open heart. And be honest about what I'm struggling with and be honest with what I am succeeding with. If you like that, great. If you don't, okay. Then maybe this is not the channel for you. Alright. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن يسلم وجهه إلى الله ومن يسلم وجهه إلى الله وهو محسن فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى وإلى الله عاقبة الأمور. And whoever surrenders, it's the same word of Islam, surrenders. Whoever submits his face towards God while he is doing good, then he has grasped the handhold that is firm. Most trustworthy is, sometimes it's like the translation in blue above is not literal, and sometimes the translation above is literal. Al-wuthqa is that which, trustworthy, you can trust it, but you trust it because it's sturdy and firm. You're holding onto something sturdy and firm. The firmest handholds. So somehow this is the literal translation, and the one above it is the meaning translation. And sometimes they have it in the reverse. It's very strange. It feels like they're different translators. Anyway, that's besides the point. Whoever does good and submits his face to God, then he's holding on to something that is trustworthy. And I don't have to worry so much about it because I am doing this. Even though I don't fully understand, I should just trust that it's good. And to God is the final destination. All matters at the end of them are to God. And with God rests all the outcome of the affairs. ومن كفر فلا يحزنك كفره إلينا مرجعهم فننبئهم بما عملوا إن الله عليم بذات الصدور. And whoever disbelieves or denies belief, then let it not grieve you their disbelief. To us is their return, so we will inform them about what they used to do. Indeed, God is all-knowing of what is inside the breasts. And there's some solace in this statement. I have struggled on this channel previously with the passing of a friend that I believed was a disbeliever. But there's a chance, there's always a chance, that within his heart he had faith. And that maybe in some weird, twisted way, his presence in my life was to make me accept the loss of people who don't have faith. Because this person did show up to my Quranic recitations the most, and was the friend that consistently showed up to them, even though he claimed that he did not believe. So you never know what's in the chests of people. You never know what they're really holding. You might think that they're disbelievers where they are believers, and you might think that they're believers when they're disbelievers. Only God knows what is in people's breasts. And there is some solace in that regard. Allah yarhamakum. نمتعهم قليلا ثم نضطرهم إلى عذاب غليظ. If you notice that I'm a little bit slow today, it's because I took an antihistamine last night and it knocked me out. I used to do drugs, now I take antihistamines. Astaghfirullah. Sorry. I'm sorry. We grant them enjoyment for a little. So who are we talking about? Those who disbelieve to us as the return will perform what they did. We will grant them enjoyment for a little in this world, and then we will force them into a punishment that is severe. Which is not Muhab, because he did not enjoy his life. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Oh, okay. But yes, those who disbelieve, who refuse, they'll just be enamored by the things that they get in life. And they'll forget that it is all an illusion. If you get too attached to what you see and feel and hear around you, then you are missing the point of why we exist in the first place. Which is not an easy point to achieve, because, like, I understand the scientific argument that, we should only go with what we see, touch, hear, and feel, because we can see, touch, hear, and feel it. You know what I mean? We can interact with it. So, like, I understand completely why people struggle with that idea. And it's harder to think that everything around us is not real, and what's real is spiritual or beyond. Like, it's such a weird concept to grasp, because we have no way of verifying what is beyond. It is just something that is empowered by our belief. It is our belief of the unseen that makes it real. If you don't believe in it, then how do you validate it? You know what I mean? وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ let me put the mouse. وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهُ قُلِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And if you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they will say, God. We had this again, I think at the start of the chapter, right? Or was it the start of the previous chapter? Because we had this twice before, and this is, I guess, the third time that this is being said. I'll do it in my reviews at a later date, because I need to come revisit. Right now I'm reading the Quran for the first time. Let me revisit the things, the synchronicities later, I think. And if you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they will say God. And what I said the first two times that we cover this is that why will they say God if they disbelieve? Or say all praises be to God, but most of them do not know. Yeah, if most of them do not know, wait. Is this a critique of the people who do believe or who claim to believe, but in their hearts is not truth? Because they don't know and they don't understand, but they just say God because everybody around them says God. That's an interesting perspective that I didn't think of. Maybe. Because it's confusing me. Why, if they say God, then why are they not knowing? Maybe this is talking. I mean, it is off the backs of God knows what's in their breasts. Those who disbelieve, we will let them enjoy a little bit and then make them suffer. And if you ask them from the heavens and the earth, who created the heavens and the earth, they'll say God. Say praise be to God. But most of them do not know. But does do not know mean that it's a negative critique? Is it, how bad is it? Like, them not knowing, is believing and not knowing fine? Oof. When I started reading the verses today, I was in the beginning, I was like, it's the same, it's just repetition. And then the more that I read into it, the more I'm like, well, hang on a second, we could think about this 16 million different ways. I think I was just tired a few days ago, and I'm sorry for that episode, but like, yeah. We're back, I guess, inshallah. لله ما في السماوات والأرض إن الله على لله ما في السماوات والأرض إن الله هو الغني الحميد. To God belongs the heavens and the earth. Indeed, God is free of need and the praiseworthy. Yeah, God don't need you. You need God. That's a good line. God don't need you. You need God. You need God. Isn't it funny how I've said that we've covered this before, and then somehow reading it, I've come up with a new concept and idea. Anyway, we grow and we learn. That's the point of this channel. ولو أن ما في الأرض من شجرة أقلام والبحر يمده من بعده 7 أبحر ما نفدت كلمات الله إن الله عزيز حكيم. We've seen another example of this, but now it's a more exaggerated form of this. And if it was whatever's on the earth, and if it was in the earth, from trees with the trees were pens. Oh, so if the trees on earth were pens, and the sea added to it another 7 seas, so I think this is talking about all the surface of the water on the earth, multiplied by 7, it would not run out, it would not exhaust the words of God. The word of God, if every tree on this planet was a pen, and the sea times 7 was all the ink, it would not exhaust the words of God. Indeed, God is almighty and all-wise. Though that being said, wait, it says kelimat. The concept is words. Like, I can come up with a combination of words. I can come up with sentences that will run for forever. You can keep running whatever combination. There is an infinite combination of words that produce different content. So what do they mean by words of God? Sometimes we refer to it as kun fayakun. A word from God causes something to exist. Which then, if you think about it, God created everything to exist, and he knows the atom of everything. So technically, everything that exists, and also just the earth, like there's also the celestial bodies, the moon, the sun, the sky. So like, of course this makes sense to me, is all I'm saying. ما خلقكم ولا بعثكم إلا كنفس واحدة إن الله سميع بصير. Your creation nor your resurrection is except as a soul that is single. They've added simple. They did not. The word simple is not there. Your creation and your resurrection is except but a soul that is one. إلا كنفس واحد. Except like a soul that is one. Is that of a single soul. Not as simple. The word simple has not been mentioned. It is understood, but it has not been mentioned. That means that our understanding can evolve and change over time. Inna Allah sami'un basir. So, what could be the definition if not that simpleness? I think I've covered this verse with Safa in the past, and I haven't been able to explain into detail what I believe about this. And I've seen 2 statements, 2 things that I want to share. One is there's a video by Kaus Gezacht called The Egg. Highly recommend it. It's very, very interesting. It's on YouTube. Kaus Gezacht means in a nutshell. Gezacht. The G's are ch. So The Egg. If you have some time, check it out. It's 8 minutes. It's very, very freaking cool. And essentially, it kind of talks about all of humanity being one soul. Everything that you've done, in every good deed that you've done it to yourself. Every bad deed that you've done it to yourself. And we're all just every incarnation of human. When you die, you get reincarnated into another person until you keep going until literally you're everybody in the world, which I find it very interesting, very cool. Highly recommend it. The other point being is when people use psychedelics or what they call God drugs, for example, psychedelics, let's just call them that. Let's not enter blasphemy territory. Usually the conclusion that everybody gets to once they hit that breaking point is that I am God and everybody's God and everything is God and everything is the same energy. Everything is sustained by the same life force, the same energy. We're all a part of the same system. And so there is a concept that we are all one soul. There is a concept that all these different entities and creatures and people and ideas and concepts have to exist in their own format and have to have their own identity in order for us to evolve and become the thing that is the heavenly creature, so to speak. That is God. And in that sense, God is perfect because God is all of us, because we're all coming together. The good, the bad, like it has to kind of play out in the way that it plays out, with belief, with not belief, with reason, with understanding, with frustrations, with strife, with difficulty, with laziness, with overcoming sin, with having sin. Like all these things come together from every single person in the world so that we can, in theory, go back to heaven. And once we go back to heaven, we kind of become, I think, in that sense, what happens to me, what happens to you, what happens to everybody is that we enter heaven in as it is described as the books. We enter a state of perpetual bliss. And then all of that becomes all of our essences together, and the lessons that we've learned, and the evolution of humans becomes one, like from one we came, from God we came, and to God we shall return. That's kind of the way that I imagine it and the way that I examine it and the way that I read it in this verse. ما خلقكم ولا بعثكم إلا كنفس واحدة. Your creation nor your resurrection is except as one soul. Those are the words that are before us here in the Quran today. Indeed, God is all hearing and all seeing. That's cool. I finally got to say that thought out, because I couldn't say it before, because I was talking to someone when I was reading those verses before. So I'm kind of glad that the Quran repeated stuff. I apologize for my ungratefulness before. Listen, we struggle. That's a part of humanity. Let yourself go. Move on. Keep going. ألم ترى أن الله يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري إلى أجل مسمى وأن الله بما تعملون خبير. Did you not see that God has blended the night into the day and blended the day into the night? And he subjected the sun and the moon, all of which moving towards a term that is appointed. And indeed, God is of what you do all aware. We've heard this time and time and time again, but maybe I don't appreciate its beauty just yet. This statement. ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه الباطل وأن الله هو العلي الكبير. That is because God is the truth, and what they call without him is the falsehood. Truth versus falsehood. Which is kind of interesting. It's interesting that the word falsehood is being used, because we are talking about this world being an illusion, right? So it's truth versus untruth. So what is the main faith? Believing in the truth. And what is the falsehood? Believing in everything else. The power, the greed, the my people are better than your people, my people are getting into heaven. There's the truth. There's the only truth that it really exists is God. And we are trying to understand God through the scripture that has been revealed to us. And God is the most high and the most great. And therein lies the point. ألم ترى أن الفلك تجري في البحر بنعمة الله ألم ترى أن الفلك تجري في البحر بنعمة الله ليريكم من آياته إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور. I am going to hear it just to make sure that it is a soft la. I have been reading them all softly when there's a kasra before them, but let me just hear it quickly.
ألم تر أن الفلك تجري في البحر بنعمة الله ليريكم.
بنعمة الله. Yeah. I think I've got it right. I need to double check that I'm not reading incorrectly. And if you guys catch me making a mistake, please let me know. I'd love to learn better how to do it. Anyway, do you not see that the ships sail or move through the sea by the grace of God, so that he may show you from his signs? And in that is a sign for everyone who's patient and grateful. Yeah, I guess patience and grateful was a bit more relevant when the ships were a bit scarier. But the Titanic is a perfect example of like, oh, look, we are unsinkable, and then they sunk. But that, again, that's from the movies. So I don't know if they said that. But to be honest, someone probably did say that. I think that was a pretty good idea. But these are signs for someone who is steadfast and grateful. So there's a metaphor in here. What is being steadfast and grateful? Being patient and grateful. Think of progress as a ship moving through the sea. Always at risk of being toppled over, always at the mercy of the winds, but being able to succeed through the grace of God. It is not about actual ships through the water, though that is the example that is given. It is about metaphorical ships navigating the waters of life and having the winds of change around them. At any moment, the wind or the storm can topple you over, but somehow you make it through at the end. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling my translations today. I'm feeling my philosophy. It's working. Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. أشكرك على كل شيء. وإذا غشيهم موج كالظل. My reading is not very good, but my explanations are good. وإذا غشيهم موج كالظلل. وإذا غشيهم موج كالظلل. كالظلل دعوا. كالظلل. So strange to end there. وإذا غشيهم موج كالظلل دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين فلما نجاهم إلى البر فمنهم مقتصد وما يجحد بآياتنا إلا كل ختار كفور. Yeah, my readability is not good today, but my explainability has been decent. And when, which means, enough about me. And when the waves cover them like canopies, so when the waves are huge and the waters are turbulent and they're scared and they're not able to succeed, again, the ship is a metaphor. It's not necessarily just the ships. They call to God, being sincere for him in religion and what he needs. But then when he saves them towards the land, then from them is some who are moderate and some who deny our verses and signs, except nobody denies our signs except every traitor that is ungrateful. There is a scene from a TV show I used to like to watch. I'll name it Will and Grace. And essentially there's a character called Karen, and she has like something happen to her. She's like, God, listen, please, if you save me, if you help me in this situation, I'll be forever good. I'll be forever good. It's also a classic trope in sitcoms. To be like, please God, if you help me. And then the thing works out, and then they go, haha, but I was crossing my fingers. I got you again. Which is like, this is exactly who they're describing. So they use it in a comedic sense in the sitcoms, but this is what it means. The person who prays to God. Everybody prays sometime. Sam Smith. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم واخشوا يوما لا يجزي والد عن ولده ولا مولود هو جاز عن والده شيئا إن وعد الله حق فلا تغزنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغزنكم بالله الغرور. I knew I was reading it wrong. فلا فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور. يغرنكم بالله الغرور. Okay, my reading is terrible today, and I'm sorry for that. Okay, but I had to say تغرنكم because يغرنكم الغرور. It's the same word 3 times. Let it not deceive you. Let's read it, explain it, and then I'll explain what I'm saying later. O people, be mindful of your Lord, and beware of a day that no father can avail their child. And the tenses here are male, but again, a lot of the times the Quran uses the tenses for male to refer to both. Usually when it's female, it's only female. However, a father cannot avail his son. A father cannot save his son on that day, and someone that is born can avail their parents in anything. Yeah, so they've translated it to the gender neutral terms. No parent will benefit any child, and no child will benefit any parent. Indeed, God's promise is true. And then it says, do not let it deceive you, the worldly life around you, and do not let it deceive you about God, the deceiver. Here they've added the word chief. You don't need to. When it's like the deceiver, al-gharur, this is the deceiver. Like it's giving him, they should just give him like a specific title, which we know to be Satana. إن الله عنده علم الساعة وينزل الغيث ويعلم ما في الأرحام وما تدري نفس ماذا تكسب غدا وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت إن الله عليم خبير. I think this is a very beautiful, wonderful final statement to finish Surah Al-Luqman. Indeed, with God, with him is the knowledge of the hour, and he sends down the rain, and he knows what is in the wombs. There is a little footnote that we are going to cover in a second. And no soul knows what it will earn tomorrow. And this is the analogy of the ship. You don't know what's going to happen to your ship tomorrow. There's waves, there's wind, it might fall over. You don't know. You think. You don't know. And no soul knows which land it will die in, and indeed God is all-knowing and all-aware. So, God knows what is in the wombs. Has this little footnote. The Prophet Muhammad was reported in hadith collected by Bukhari and Muslim to have said, indeed, the creation of each of you is brought together by the wombs of one mother's drop, and male and female discharges in 40 days, and the one becomes a clinging cloth for a similar period, and then a lump of flesh for a similar period. Then an angel is sent down to blow the breath of life into the embryo. The angel is then commanded to write 4 things: one's designated provisions, the lifespan, the actions, and whether one will be happy or miserable in the hereafter. This I do not have a Quranic reference for yet. Maybe it's in the Quran somewhere, but I do not have a Quranic reference for, therefore I cannot argue for it or against it. But again, the reason why I'm studying the Quran specifically and not studying the words of the Prophet is because the Quran is immortal, but not necessarily the words of the Prophet. However, in this case, the creation of the womb, there's one male drop and a female drop, as becomes a clinging cloth for some time and a lump of flesh. There are 2 things that are being said. The 2 drops together, male and female, becomes a clinging cloth, alaq, Surah Al-Alaq, and a lump of flesh for some period of time. Al-Alaq was the first verse. The clot was the very first chapter to be revealed. So there is a Quranic reference for this specific verse. The male drop and the female drop, funny enough, we're going to go into the first 10 verses of this, and of Surah Al-Sajdah. And I believe there's a reference to it. Yeah. He made man descendants from a humble fluid, and he fashioned them and breathed into them. So we're going to cover the angel sent to blow breath of life into the embryo. So we're going to cover all of these. Alaq we're not going to cover because alaq is in a different one. But all of these are in the Quran. The only thing that's left for me is to see these 4 things. So, like, the fact that they put hadith rather than putting the Quranic references is confusing to me. Because Quran definitely supersedes hadith by not even a comparison. The words of God supersede the words of the Prophet. So I'm not saying that the Prophet is not a great man. I'm saying the Prophet is the great man and one of the ones that brought us the guidance and brought us the Quran. And like without him, we would be absolutely lost. But we have to make a distinction between the words of God and the words of the Prophet. And we have to focus our perspective on the words of God because they are eternal. But yes, Surah Al-Alaq, which is the first one, is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I love it, actually. I love it. It's number 96. And this verse is on Surah Al-Luqman. And I did a little bit of research. Surah Al-Luqman was, using this revelation order, was number 57. 57 is Luqman. It was the 57th surah to be revealed. And then number 75 was As-Sajda. So the one that came after it, the one that says drop, male drop and female drop. But this entire, we don't know when this hadith was recorded. It's just, I don't know. It's an open discussion. We've had it. Very interesting perspective. Anyway, let's get into the first 10 verses of Surah As-Sajda. As-Sajda means the prostration. It's a single prostration. It's what we do, the act that we do when we come to pray. We're not going to cover why we do that just yet, but we are going to get there. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. We've covered this a million times, and specifically a lot in the last couple of chapters. تنزيل الكتاب لا ريب فيه من رب العالمين. Yeah, it always talks about the book, except for in Ar-Rum. Maybe it talks about it, not about the book, in another verse. Because specifically Alif Lam Mim. Anyway, let's not get into it. The revealing of the sending down of the book, there is no doubt in it from the Lord of the worlds. I mean, I always confuse what this means. La rayba fihi. There's no doubt in it. Because a lot of people doubt it. But that's not the same as having doubt within it. And that kind of makes sense. The book, the words of God are very specific and very direct and doubtless. You may doubt that they are the words of God, but within the words of God there is no doubt. La rayba fihi. In it. But like la rayba fihi can mean no doubt about it. But it can also mean no doubt in it. And I think no doubt in it makes more sense. Because people do doubt the books. But unless you believe. Anyway, my head's hurting. أم يقولون افتراه بل هو الحق من ربك لتنذر قوما ما أتاهم من نذير من قبلك لعلهم يهتدون. Or they will say, he invented it, the Prophet fabricated it. Say, nay, it is the truth from your Lord, so that you may warn a people that has not come to them from any warner from before, so that they may be guided. Yeah, we've seen this time and time again. Has he fabricated it? And also, it's interesting that it says the book, because in this context, they're talking as if it is the Prophet Muhammad, but it could be anyone that was given scripture, right? Right? Because the same thing can be said to them. Some Muslims will say, La rayba fihi, no doubt in it, has to be only the Quran. Because the others have doubt. But the others don't have doubt in their books. They have doubt in our book. My brain's not braining. الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش ما لكم من دونه من ولي ولا شفيع أفلا تتذكرون. God is the one who created the heavens and the earth and what is in between them in 6 days. Then he established himself upon the throne. You do not have besides him or without him any protector or any intercessor. Then will you not take heed? The idea of intercession, I thought very few people will have the ability to intercede, such as the Prophet, but I'm not sure. I'll come back to it at a later date. See footnote for 754. Yeah, we've covered the earth being created in 7 days. يدبر الأمر من السماء إلى الأرض ثم يعرج إليه في يوم كان مقداره 1000 سنة مما تعدون. He regulates the affair from the heavens to the earth, then he will ascend it to him on a day that was the measure of which 1,000 years of what you count. He conducts every affair to the heavens to the earth, then it all ascends to him on a day whose length of it is 1,000 years. Wait. ثم يعرج إليه في يوم. Then he does all the affairs on the heavens and the earth, and then it rises up to him on a day that had its value 1,000 years. Okay. Hang on a second. Can you find me all references of a day being 1,000 years in the Quran? Surah Al-Sajda, Surah Al-Hajj, there's 2 verses. So let's check the other verse. So it's really not that long. ويستعجلونك بالعذاب ولن يخلف الله وعده وإن يوما عند ربك كألف سنة مما تعدون. So here it says, in a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years from what you count. And here it says, he regulates, he manages the affairs of the heavens and the earth, then he will ascend, then it will ascend to him in a day which his measure is 1,000 years of what you count. Huh? Does this happen more than once? Do we count God's... Hang on a second. Like, one idea that I was thinking of is, what if all of humanity's lifespan is 6 days, aka 6,000 years? That's just not true, because we know that the earth existed before. But did the humans exist before? Yeah, time of Moses is... Time of Moses? 15th to the 13th century BCE. So that was like 3,500 years ago. Time of Abraham. 2,100 BC, so that's 4,000 years ago. Time of Noah is only 2,348 BC? Or roughly 1,600 years after creation, so that's 4,000 before. So technically that makes the end of the 6,000 years around now. If this calculation, obviously this is an AI review, and this AI doesn't mean anything, but that would make the 6,000th year soon. Very soon. But that's just a wild-ass theory that I'm thinking of, based off of 2 random statements. First of all, a day with God is 1,000 years. And then in As-Sajda, we covered 2 verses. God created the heavens and the earth, and what is in between them in 6 days. Then he established himself upon the throne. Which, again, If you look at Christian scripture, things are a bit interesting because sitting on the throne. Okay, I don't want to enter that territory because that crosses blasphemy lines for a lot of you. So I'm trying not to do it. But this is kind of very interesting. This is very cool. So he created the earth in the earth and the heavens in 6 days, and then he established himself on the throne. And so far, I mean, these are all kind of the flood began 600 years of Noah's life. So he died, and what do we say, Abraham? Abraham was 2,100, yeah. So Abraham was alive when Noah was alive? Is that what they're saying? Okay, obviously this is just speculation and this is just guessing. So we have no idea whether these timelines are right. What do we have from the Quran? The Quran says God created the heavens and the earth and what's in between them in 6 days. He managed the affairs of the heavens and the earth. Then he will send to him in a day that is with the measure of 1,000 years. So 6 days is 6,000 years. And all the heavens, he conducts the affairs of the heavens and the earth. And then it all ascends to him on a day. This is a very interesting verse. He conducts the affairs from... Wow. I was not expecting my brain to crinkle this hard this early. Okay, very cool, very interesting. ذلك عالم الغيب والشهادة العزيز الرحيم. That is the knower of the unseen and the witness of the Almighty and All-Merciful. So here's the thing. If he knows and he sees everything, so why does he need to conduct every affair and then it ascends all ascends to him on a day? What does all ascends to him on a day of 1,000 years be? If he sees it all and he deals with it all at all times, what does it all ascend to him? ثم يعرج إليه في يوم كان مقداره ألف سنة مما تعدون. Then it ascends to him? What does ascends to him mean? All the affairs, all the matters of the heaven and the earth? What does that mean? My brain is wrinkling real hard right now. That is the knower of the unseen and witness. That is knower of the unseen and the witnessed. Oh, the seen and the unseen. The Almighty and Most Merciful. I believe that we're going to get these answers at the end of time, or at the specific moment, or whenever. When I get these answers, I'm going to have the loudest oh moment of my life, and I'm very curious to find out. الذي أحسن كل شيء خلقه وبدأ خلق الإنسان من طين. The one who made good, who perfected everything that he has created, and he begins creation of mankind from clay. Adam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, praise be upon him. Not prayers be upon him. Actually say God praise upon him and put to peace. Let's not get into it. ثم جعل نسله من سلالة من ماء مهين. Then he made his progeny from an extract of water that is humble, despised. It's very interesting. Humble, small, minute, kleine. Oh, I said Dutch there. It's fine. ثم سواه ونفخ فيه من روحه وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. And then he fashioned it and he breathed into it from his spirit. Again, we looked at that hadith from the last part of Luqman, which again, look at Quran first before hadith is always my point. And then he fashioned it and he blew from his spirit. So here they translated it to the Prophet saying that his spirit's blowing means that it was the angel blowing. And the angel is sent to breathe life. And I don't know if the angel and the spirit are the same thing. I feel like they're different. I think angels are separate entities and spirit is something slightly different. But that's just my understanding. And then he made for you the three senses: hear, see, believe. Sight, sound, hearing, sight, hearing, sight, and feeling is, I mean, yeah, because your heart feels. It's literally the word heart. Because you perceive through your hearing, you perceive through your sight, which is interesting. Let's not get too philosophical. Little is what thanks they give. وقالوا أإذا ضللنا في الأرض أإنا لفي خلق جديد بل هم بلقاء ربهم كافرون. And they said, this we've seen time and time again, if we are lost in the earth, if we die, then we will be in a creation that is new? Question mark? Do you think we will be in a new creation after we died? You think there's something else? Nay, they are in the meeting of their Lord, disbelievers, which we know. Cool. This was a very exciting episode. I am happy. Yeah. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Oh, and we disconnected the OBS. It's fine. Yeah. Watch the YouTube channel to catch it. Anyway, Sadaqallahu al-Ali al-Azim. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Love you. Get out of here. Ma'as salami. Bye.